What is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Samoa Raider back at it again with another video, and we got another week of football, as this week we go up against one of our AFC rivals, the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's going to be the Raiders versus the Chiefs at Ring Central in Oakland, and it's going to be a really great game, and a lot of Raider Nation is looking forward to it. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm pretty sure we could pull this one out. We're both 1-0. Patrick Mahomes versus Derek Carr. Who's gonna take this W? Hopefully the Raiders. Without further ado, Raider Nation, let's get started with this Week 2 preview.
You tell them one thing. Just win, baby.
So coming off a Week 1 victory against AFC rivals, the Denver Broncos, the Raiders look to add another W in the win column. But that may sound easier said than done, as they go head to head with the reigning defending AFC champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams stand at 1-0, but that will surely change after this Sunday. Patrick Mahomes and company look to be an offensive powerhouse, even without their star wideout Tyreek Hill. But they have plenty of weapons surrounding the MVP, from Travis Kelce to last week's standout in Sammy Watkins. This looks to be a good test for the Raiders' impressive defense. If the Raiders want to have any success Week 2, they will have to limit Patrick Mahomes the same way they did Joe Flacco. After losing Jonathan Abram in the secondary, the Raiders will have to contain the Chiefs from executing any big plays, or it'll be a long day for the Raiders. At the end of the day, the model stays the same. Just win, baby. Now, before we get into this preview, let's get started with your nation news. So first news is, what's going on with AB? Not a damn thing. I'm just happy I don't have to talk about him anymore. So in other news, we all know that Jonathan Abram has been placed on IR. After he tore his rotator cuff, there was questions on whether he would be out for the rest of the season or if he was even going to play this week. But it has been confirmed that Jonathan Abram will be placed on IR and most likely will be done for the rest of the season. His injury requires surgery, and I don't see him coming back. So we're gonna have to wait until next year till we see Jonathan Abram hit the field for a full season. After that first week, he did look pretty good, and it was announced that he tore his rotator cuff in the first quarter. And if you guys watched him throughout the rest of the game, it didn't even look like he was injured at all, but that shows how tough he was. And he did tweet that, you know, if he's gonna go out, he's gonna go out with a bang. And that's what he did. And some sad news, former Raider NEIRON passes away at the age of 27. Drafted in the 5th round of the 2015 draft, he did play 6 games for the Raiders until he got his knee injury, and he was never the same since then. Trent Brown, another player that's on our team, was really close to NEIRON, and he dedicated this season alone to his friend NEIRON. Even though he didn't play much in the Raiders uniform, a lot of Raider Nation knows about him or know of him. So yeah, man, NEIRON will be missed around the Raider Nation. Whew. After some sad news, I just want to come out and introduce my new segment of this show, which I call My Neck and My Back.
My neck and my back.
Play of the week, which will highlight one play of the previous game. And this play is a play that makes, you know, my neck and my back.
My neck and my back.
Just go crazy. So for this first play of the week goes to none other than our star running back, Josh Jacobs. I call it up, and away.
Fullbacks. First and goal. Second man throw is Josh Jacobs. Got there.
Here's Jacobs behind, over the top, jumps up for the touchdown. His first.
Away goes up.
Ooh, doesn't it feel good to have a star running back now? Yarr. Matchup of the week. Now last week, my matchup of the week didn't really go as planned because I had Antonio Brown versus Chris Harris Jr. Obviously, Antonio did not even play and is not even on the team anymore, but scratch that, we're beyond that. This week is going to be a really interesting matchup. Sammy Watkins versus CONLEY. Yes, CONLEY went down last week, but he will be back and he will be playing in this game. Sammy Watkins, after having a huge Week 1, had 198 yards for 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, that's crazy. And in this game with no Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins looks to be the #1 for the Chiefs, and you know what that means. That'll be Patrick Mahomes' favorite target outside of Travis Kelce. So hopefully CONLEY puts the clamps on Sammy Watkins, and hopefully we don't give no big plays to the Chiefs, because it'll be a long day if we do. So CONLEY, I'm looking for you to be that #1 cornerback and to solidify your job as the #1 cornerback on this team. Story time. Storylines of the game. So Raider Nation, I have 3 storylines going into this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, Did I say shitty? Kansas City Chiefs. Number 1, containing the MVP. As you guys know, Patrick Mahomes is a different type of breed. He is an elite quarterback. I know he only had 1 year under his belt, and maybe the Madden curse, hopefully praying to God that the Madden curse hits him in this game, because I don't want him balling out against the Raiders defense. But last week, after having 378 yards and 3 touchdowns, he doesn't look to slow down, especially against the Raiders defense. After having a really good showing against the Denver Broncos, who honestly doesn't have a really great offense, hopefully the Raiders can contain Patrick Mahomes and not give up any big yards. Hopefully we can keep him in the pocket and maybe get a couple of sacks on him. Last week the Raiders had 3 sacks, so this week I hope to see 3 or more sacks as well. But containing Patrick Mahomes is key. Number 2, feeding Josh Jacobs. Now last week Josh Jacobs had a huge load to carry, having 23 carries for about 83 yards, but over 100 all-purpose yards, having 2 touchdowns. He was carrying this team on 3rd downs, on goal line carries, was doing everything that we needed him to do. And obviously he's going to be our bell cow running back, but going into this game we're going to have to keep feeding Josh Jacobs, get his feet wet even more in this league, and hopefully he can break out a big run in this game and score more touchdowns and carry this offense against this Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs don't really have a great defense, so we hope to exploit it in the running game and in the passing game. But Josh Jacobs, we gotta feed him. And number 3, protecting the CARR. Last week we did a great job against 2 great pass rushers in Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, allowing 0 sacks and 0 QB hits. I look for the Raiders offensive line to keep Derek Carr clean as well in this game. And as you guys see, when Derek Carr is clean in the pocket, he does great things. He only missed 4 completions and had 259 yards and a touchdown. So in this game, I'm looking for Derek Carr to sling the ball left and right. So hopefully we don't see any sacks from Derek Carr this week. Players to watch. So I have 3 players to watch in this game. Number 1, Darren Waller. Darren Waller is obviously one of Derek Carr's favorite targets on this offense alongside of Tyrell Williams, but Darren Waller is a mismatch against anybody at the tight end position, whether it's a cornerback. He has height over any cornerback, he has speed over any linebacker. He's just a mismatch, and the guy that's putting his name out there, Darren Waller, has got to go out there and continue to ball out and exploit this Kansas City defense and become Derek Carr's security blanket if he needs one. So I do expect a great game from Darren Waller. Hopefully he does get a touchdown in this game, but look out for Darren Waller. Number 2, Clelin Ferrell, our 4th overall pick in the NFL draft. Clelin Ferrell, a guy that's been criticized since we drafted him, had a solid showing in last week's game against the Denver Broncos, had 3 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 pass deflection, and this guy is only going to get better. If you ask me, Clelin Ferrell has 1 sack, Khalil Mack has 0 sacks. I'm just saying. But Clelin Ferrell, I hope he adds on to that and becomes a force on this defensive line. But like I said, I hope that Clelin Ferrell adds on to that, adds on to his repertoire and his resume, especially with the experience that he's been getting over the past couple of weeks. I hope he goes out there and balls out and hopefully gets another sack. And last but not least, number 3, Keelan Doss. Yes, Keelan Doss, the guy we brought back from the Jacksonville Jaguars after we released Antonio Brown. And last week he did not get any playing time because he just joined the team again. But this week, John Gruden announced that he's going to be playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, and look for him to get some playing time. And I want to see how he looks with Derek Carr at quarterback. We already know how he looks when we had Nathan Peterman at quarterback, but with Derek Carr, the way he's been slinging the balls to all of his receivers, I look for Keelan Doss to become an X factor as well on this offense. Hopefully he can find the end zone as well and show why we really wanted him back on this team. Now that is it, Raider Nation. That's all I have for you guys today on this week's episode of your pre-game preview against the Kansas City Chiefs. So right now, I want to know what your guys' score prediction to this game will be. Drop it down in the comments below. Will the Raiders win? Will the Raiders lose? Who knows? Let your boy know. And if you guys enjoyed this video, then smash that like button. I would gladly appreciate it. And if this is the first time you're watching this video, y'all know the deal. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button just to notify y'all when I upload more videos like this one. Without further ado, this is your boy Simone Raider. Until the next video, your boy Simone Raider is yow.